Zachary is with us in San Antonio, Texas. Hey, Zachary, how are you?
Good, Dave. How are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I am currently 21 years old. I owe $7,200 left on a car that I bought in 2017, and I have about $12,000 saved up. I started listening to you probably, 3-4 months ago, and I just wanted to call in and say, is that something I should take out of that $12,000 savings and just pay it off now? Or?
So how much have you been listening over the last month?
I've been 5 days a week just while I work.
Okay. Then you know what I'm going to tell you, don't you?
I'm leaning towards knowing what you're going to tell me, but I wanted to be sure, but I also wanted to ask this in consideration to it. That's the only thing that I have on my credit as credit history. So should I continue paying it off to get more credit history, or should I just pay it off all in one lump sum?
Okay. Here's how we've led more people out of debt and into everyday millionaire status than anybody else. We have figured out that the shortest path to wealth is to not use up your most powerful wealth building tool, which is called your income. So when you don't have payments, when you stay out of debt, it is one of the key data points towards building wealth. So I don't borrow money, and for 25 years, Zachary, I've taught people not to borrow money and to get out of debt as fast as they can. And the reason is what I just said, because it's the shortest path to wealth. That's simple, okay? Now, once we've established that, then we say, okay, what is building credit? Well, building credit is I'm going to go into debt and pay it on time so that I have a better score with the credit bureau, so that I can go into debt and pay it on time so that I can have a better score with the credit bureau, so that I can go into debt and pay it on time so that I can have that's building your credit. That's how it works, right?
Right.
Sounds a little like a dog chasing its tail.
Okay.
And so if you stipulate in this conversation that the shortest path to wealth is to avoid debt, then going into debt in order to have the opportunity to go into debt, is not the shortest path to wealth. As a matter of fact, it'd be just plain dumb. And
gotcha.
So I don't teach people to build their credit. My credit score is 0.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if that would affect me in the future on buying a house, and honestly, I'm ready to pay it off today and be debt free by the end of the day. But
good.
What are my next steps after that?
Well, then let's start building an emergency fund, and then build up a big hairy down payment on your house. And I assume you're renting an apartment?
I actually stay with family. I only pay about $300 a month in rent.
Perfect. Okay. Well, you may have to, when you go to get a mortgage, if you have 0 credit, now you don't have 0 credit. You've got a car that will continue to show on there as having been paid off, but I assume you paid it on time, have you not?
Oh, yeah, I'm like 6 months ahead on the payments.
Okay. Then it's going to show up, the time that you've had the debt is going to show on your credit. So you do have a credit score, you do have a credit report. But if you don't have enough, then the mortgage company will have to do what's called manual underwriting, which means they will just say, okay, verify your job, verify your down payment, and they can have the people that you're living with write a letter and say he's paid us $300 a month rent for this many years or months or whatever it is. And that's enough to get a mortgage at the same interest rate as people with a high credit score. It's called manual underwriting. And if your mortgage company doesn't know how to do it, folks, check with Churchill Mortgage. They actually know how to do it. A lot of the mortgage companies have gotten so dumbed down that they're not allowed to think anymore, and they just look at a monkey looking at a credit score. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, the number's big enough. Ooh, ooh, the number's not big enough. Whatever it is, right? And so that's the one time if you're borrowing money that you're going to not have a credit score, you're going to have a workaround. The rest of the time, you're paying cash for cars, trips, furniture, whatever it is you're going to do. You're going to pay cash for it. No building the credit score. And The problem with the credit score is there's no middle ground. You either got to go borrow $150,000 over the next 4 years and pay it back in a bunch of little gotcha debts and kicks in the butt and kicks in the teeth, and then you'll have an 800 credit score, or you have zero credit score like I do. And you got to just decide which way you want to live. Living in the middle with a 650 credit score is a dumb idea. That'll kill you. You get nothing then. You got nothing from either side of this equation. So, good question. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Justin on Twitter is in the same camp. Dave, I know you suggest canceling credit cards. Doesn't that hurt your credit rating? Yes, it does. Or is this just another ploy by credit card companies to get you to keep them? No, it hurts your credit because you don't have the account open anymore. And it's systematic. It doesn't hurt it like paying late. It doesn't. It's not a black mark. But the way your credit score works, the mathematical algorithm that builds your FICO score is based on your consistent and constant interaction, paying them money. And if you quit paying them money, them being the banks, consistently, constantly, then you're not going to have as high a score. So if you have one account that's open versus 20 accounts that's open and perfectly paid, you're going to have a lower score. So yeah, closing up your credit card accounts does damage your score, with the goal being for your score to disappear because you have no open accounts of any kind, no outstanding balances of any kind, nothing where you're interfacing with the grid. And then you get what I get for 28 years. I've had a zero score. Indeterminable. They actually sent me an email. We want to make sure that you're not feeling poorly. Are you sick? Have you died? Kind of a threat, I think. But no, I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. I'm just not giving you people a bunch of money anymore.